don't give up. It's so easy to give up, and it's so easy to think that giving up is the easiest option. You've just got to refocus. You've just got to change your mindset. I want to reach something, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get to the end goal. And all those people out there that doubted me, I think they're the ones that have motivated me to really succeed.
Victoria, thank you so much for joining me for our next episode of Be the Drop.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you in the Skydeck. Mm-hmm. What a very cool space. So for those of the listeners who are obviously not here, can you just paint a picture for us and explain what this venue is about?
So Adelaide Skydeck is located in the Aurora building, 147 Perry Street. And at the very top of that building on level 14 is this glass, probably function room, meeting room on a rooftop terrace with these amazing views of the city. And the hills, actually. You can see the hills.
It's incredible. I'm sitting here, I'm definitely going to focus on you, but the view is distracting.
It is.
So thank you very much for having me in this fantastic space. To get us started, I know you've brought along your item of significance, and that's something that connects you with your community and gives us a little bit of background insight into you and what you do.
This is an award for being named the best business event venue in Australia.
Wow.
And that is for the Adelaide Hills Convention Centre, which is where I am the general manager. I went in with the Shripper family when they bought that business probably nearly 5 years ago now. And for 5 years, I have worked so hard along with the family and with my team to build that business and get it to where it is now. And so to actually walk away with this, I felt like I'd achieved something. We'd been recognised for it, all of us, and it was just amazing.
So you are the manager at the Adelaide Hills Convention Centre, and also you manage and own the Adelaide Skydeck as well. Yeah. So, you're really experienced in running conferencing and convention spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the UK, my family, my grandparents were in hospitality, had hotels, so I did grow up in the industry. I said, I'm never going to do that. Never in a million years. And moved to Australia and went into a recruitment agency and worked in there. And then went on to the Mount Barker Golf Club and started functions and events there. Went on to running that and then moved over to Hardup, and we started Adelaide Hills Conferencing, which then led on to running the Adelaide Hills Convention Centre in the family. Which then led on to being approached to see if I want to take on this venue.
Oh, great. So have you got a story that you can share with us that, along this journey, you've mentioned there some of these different moments within the journey. Is there an aha sort of moment, story that you can share with listeners that's really something that you've learnt along the way?
There is. I think my biggest lesson was failing. I was naive at one point going into business. I was quite naive. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I could do it all. I thought I knew everything, and failed massively and was horrified. I was embarrassed. I was sad. It broke our family up. It was hard. And I sat there and I thought, well, what are we going to do? I can just give up now, walk away and try something else, or I can just pick myself up and get stuck into it and really focus and learn from that and move forward. So I did. I really did. I probably had a really dark 18 months and just really probably focused on myself and what I'd learned from it and what I needed to do and what I needed to change in my life. That fear of, what are people going to say? What are people doing? And someone's saying this. That was really holding me back to move forward. So once I let go of all of that and said, sod it, I'm just going to focus on myself, then that was it. And then I just powered through, did a Tony Robbins. That was great. Took on a mentor, fantastic. And here we are.
Oh, good. So then, from that, can you just maybe summarise a couple of key things that you learnt and what people could do, if they find themselves in that same situation, if they, experience business failure?
Don't give up. It's so easy to give up, and it's so easy to think that giving up is the easiest option. They don't think they can rebuild or step forward. And you can, you really can. You've just got to refocus. You've just got to change your mindset. I want to reach something and I'm going to do whatever I can to get to the end goal. And all those people out there that doubted me, I think they're the ones that have motivated me to really succeed.
Thank you. That is really great, valuable advice. So if we can take a step back in looking at this conferencing space, and working in that conferencing space that you do, what for you has been the biggest way to build that business? So, obviously the last 5 years with the Adelaide Hills Convention Centre and now with the Adelaide Skydeck. How do you go about building that business, building awareness and, building yourself into a position of winning awards?
I think the main thing is the team. You've got to have a really strong, solid team in place to deliver that product or that service, and I've kept my team from the start. We've just grown it. So along the way, I have, moulded them into, this is our product, this is our brand, this is how we're going to sell this is what we're going to do. Our customer service, our quality, our delivery is always going to be 100%, because then those clients that we're bringing in, they're going to keep coming back, and we build those relationships, and we've got clients that come back every year or every quarter or every month, and they love that they can pick up the phone and they can say, oh, hi Katie, this is what we did, last month, can we do the same? And it's just easy. And because it's a small team, you're not handed from person to person to person. You are just dealing with the one person all the time. And my role now is more getting out there, meeting new people, making people aware, making Adelaide, South Australia aware of that. We've got this amazing venue up there. I've got this awesome venue down here, and come and try it out.
So, and in that process, you mentioned that training and talking with your staff about this is our product, this is our services, and this is how we're going to sell them. What's your experience been of training staff and having that mix between communication and sales, and how to manage that process?
We meet every week. Every Friday morning we have a staff meeting. We go through sales report that Chris has done, and we go through around the table and they all deliver, and we brief and debrief on the week's conferences and events, and then we set goals of what we want to achieve the next week, what we want to achieve the next month and the next year. And then we go around and we do our gratitudes. And it's good because it makes everyone accountable of what they want to achieve in the next month. And it's not just one person, it's the whole team. Keeping that consistency, keeping the team happy. I reward them. We'll go out and we did the barbecue boys when we won the award, took them out. We had an afternoon, we went into that, we came here, we had pizza, drinks, and we just talk. And I will sit down and I will make sure I touch base with all of them during the week. I've just been off for a couple of weeks and I've made sure that I've spoken to them. Nearly every day I've spoken to someone up there just to touch base, say hi, how are you going? And if they've got a problem, if they've got a personal issue, they call me, we talk about it. So really close team as well.
So that internal, external communication, both of them, you work really hard in maintaining that? Yeah.
We have a rule when an inquiry comes through, Chris makes contact straight away. There's no 24 hours later. It's immediately, as soon as he possibly can, he will ring them and say, thank you, I've got your email, just wanted to touch base, I will put a quote together and get it through to you. And that's really important. And we get a lot of feedback from clients saying, oh, wow, they don't even hear from some venues, ever.
And that's, making sure they feel valued.
Absolutely.
Is going to be a long way to building that relationship, as you mentioned. You also said that your focus is around meeting people and building awareness. What sort of channels? Is it really word of mouth that's your biggest way of building awareness? What are you using?
Our highest one week after week is word of mouth. Out of everything we do, it's word of mouth. And you sit there going, that is fantastic. People are talking about us, but people are coming here because they're not going off what we're advertising, they're actually listening. Our clients are doing the selling for us. And so when we've got happy clients going around going, wow, we had a great conference up at the Adelaide Hills Convention Centre, fantastic. Okay, well, we're going to give them a go because you're raving about it. Let's try it. So I network all the time. And it's a bit of a joke that I go to the opening of an envelope, which I do, but what I pull from that, I've made fantastic relationships. They might not need something directly from me, but they'll go away and they'll say, we met Victoria Fox, Adelaide Hills, blah, blah, blah. And I do a lot of on-selling of people I meet. I've got friends that are starting businesses in Adelaide, and you talk about them and you help each other. That's what I love about Adelaide, because everyone does that for everyone else. And being members of some of the associations are great. A member of Brand SA, and that is fantastic.
And why is that such a valuable organisation?
Because they run fantastic workshops that they do, industry workshops that they do an industry briefing each month, so you know what's coming up. Another great way to meet people, but also know what's happening in South Australia. And they're really supportive of each business, and they'll also spruik you and share your info, which I think is really important. When you're a member, you know that you're getting your value out of it.
When you're networking and you're talking with people, what are the stories that you're telling to really paint the picture of the venue and what you can offer?
Well, a lot of people come to me because they've seen or they've heard about Skydeck. I haven't really had to sell it yet. For Hardup, it's a little bit different because you're not CBD based. So when I sell that, it's like, if you're looking for a retreat, are you looking to get out of the city? Do you need to engage your staff into a full day and keep them out of popping back to the office and doing emails, or losing them at lunchtime down to the pub? Do you need to give them a break? Do you really, fresh air, space, team building? When you start putting that all together and you say, come up, pop up, let's do a site tour, let's have a coffee, let's have lunch, let's look around at what other experiences are in Hardup. So I'm not just selling the venue, I'm actually selling Hardup and the Adelaide Hills as a package, and they go, oh, this is really cool. When I'm interstate and I'm selling it, you take in Sydney and you're driving 20 minutes and you only get 500 metres down the road. and so you say to them, it's only 20 minutes. They're like, wow, that's really cool. 33 acres. Here, it's a bit the same actually. Amazing views. You're in the city, but you feel like you're a little bit out of it because you're so high up, and you feel on top of the world because you can see everyone. So they're very different markets, very different ways of selling.
And of the channels, the marketing communication channels, what channels is your business utilising?
So marketing team, we've a lot of digital marketing, social media. We've just taken on TV advertising. LinkedIn for Skydeck is amazing. I just post little things or what's happening or what I've been doing, and I'll suddenly get an email going, oh, we've seen you on LinkedIn, fantastic, we'd like to come in and see the venue. So LinkedIn, I think, is also a great tool in the corporate world especially.
Okay, so then we've talked a little bit about, challenges, but I wondered if you could talk about some of the, in specific to these businesses, challenges, and say for Skydeck, Adelaide Skydeck, it's new. What sort of challenges have you faced building this as a business?
It's a fairly new venue for me, so it's making sure that this room is always set, because someone might call me tomorrow morning and want it for that afternoon. So it's probably the biggest challenge I have for a smaller venue is they don't want to book it 2 weeks in advance. They want to take it straight away because they suddenly need to do an interview, or they've got a workshop, or they've got another venue that's double booked them and they need to find an alternative. So I think that's probably my challenge, is getting my head around that particular market down here.
Yeah. So we're now at one of my favourite new segments for Be The Drop, and that is the power round. I'm going to ask you 2 questions and I want you to answer them in under 1 minute each to share some of your top advice. So the first question is, can you tell me your number 1 advice for success in business?
Relationships. Build relationships, maintain the relationships, and you will have those clients forever.
Well, that was definitely under 1 minute. Well done. That was a power round.
That was 30 seconds.
Okay, so then the second one, the flip side of that is your biggest business challenge and how you overcame it.
letting go and being able to let my team do their jobs so I could actually move on and branch out and sell. So it was trusting them, which I do, but it was just letting go. I had to let go. I didn't need to keep stepping back in and going, what are you doing? Is that all right? I had to let go. So once I let go, they flourished. Then I could step into a new role and then sell quicker, and that was over a minute. I borrowed from the last minute.
No, see, it was fine.
Really?
Yeah, that was good. Well done. So you smashed that. Well done. As you're going through business growth, you mentioned building teams. What sort of decisions do you go, like at what point do you engage new staff members? Because there's that balance between growth and income, expenditure. How do you manage that process?
That is so hard. That is a challenge in business because you're stretching everyone and everyone's getting exhausted, but there isn't enough income to take on someone else. What I've been doing now is going, okay, I want someone that's passionate about the industry, because if you're not, you need to go and look at something else. You need to align with our values. You need to want to and fit in with the team. The team is really solid, and it's hard for someone to come into that as well. So I have to make sure that the team are also welcoming and engaging with each new member. So I think what I've just recently done is pulled someone on that is passionate, has just left uni or currently studying at uni, and we're gonna mentor them, and then when we can pull them in full time, then we've actually been training them along the way and they're ready to go.
Yeah, and that managing staffing and business requirements is a challenge.
We're a function centre. We went 6 weeks of back-to-back conferencing, and that was hardcore. That was full on. You know, we're turning around rooms in the night, we're prepping food 24/7, we've got everyone coming in, and then we have a week of nothing, and it's like, okay, everyone take the week off and relax, because you've got another 3 weeks of this coming up. It's not 9 to 5. It's when you're required. There is no 9 to 5 in hospitality. Absolutely zero. It is early mornings, late nights, weekends. So anyone that wants to work in hospitality, you can say goodbye to Friday night. And Saturday night.
Yeah, well, and all the days in between, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. And that's, we do work hard. And everyone I know in hospitality works hard, but it's so rewarding. When you've delivered someone's wedding and you've seen how happy everyone is and they're raving about the food and the venue, and you go, oh, it was all so worth it. I only had 2 hours sleep last night, but God, I feel good now. It's so cool.
You might go home and crash, but you feel good right now.
Absolutely. It's hard, but it's so rewarding. Yeah. And I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Victoria.
Thank you.
In conclusion though, can you share with me your Be the Drop tip? And that's your top tip for communication.
It still goes back to relationships face to face and really working hard on building and maintaining everyone. And it's not just clients, it's your friends, it's everyone in life. If you're not consistent and you're not talking to everyone and someone you've spoken to, I was at an event yesterday and I spoke to someone and we've touched base by email and we're going to catch up and have coffee, and then we'll probably have lunch, and then who knows, but you've made either a client, a friend, but you've built a relationship, and I think that is so important in business and life.
Thank you so much. I couldn't agree more.